Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of The Court Counsel. This conversation has an extended version over on my podcast, The Sovereignty Podcast, because someone had asked me previously to do a video discussing passport bros. This is the phenomenon of American men going overseas to find romantic relationships because they are disillusioned with the women in their own nations, having high standards, not necessarily giving them what they think they deserve or desire. I didn't intend on doing a further discussion of this, but number one, I have thoroughly pissed off the passport bros of TikTok. Yes, I have been utilizing my TikTok and they are mad, and I am glad of it because I don't give a damn. And to be honest, I didn't even say anything super bad. I honestly support the passport bros. Truly, I do. And I told them that, and they don't really like the fact that I support them. This is what I said. I support the passport bro movement. The reason I support is because it's the lesser men who are choosing to leave. Let them go. You're not hurting my feelings or any other woman's feelings by removing your weak, lesser self from the market, which you have already been rejected. Because let me let you know, the good men who meet the standards are not having problems in the dating market over here. They're fine. The men who are griping and whining and complaining and all that, they're the men that can't meet our standards. So what do we look like complaining about the men who we don't want in the first place? I'm not going to complain about the D students leaving the honor roll class. You're getting a D and an F in the class. I'm going to suggest that you go. I don't want you to stay. We're not losing anything by losing you. The way that I support y'all leaving, I wish I could pack you on the boat. I would make you a lunch and send you on your way. Truly, I'm not trying to keep a man against his will. If a man feels like he can do better somewhere else, I encourage him to go. If you cannot satisfy my needs, what do I look like trying to keep you anyways? If you can't give Western women what we want, what are we losing by losing you? It doesn't make much sense to me why they seemingly are throwing this in our face when I'm like, I don't even understand what you think these foreign women are getting from you, because all these passport bros ever do is describe what they want and what they can have from women. They always tell women what they desire. It's always about them, right? And their needs. But these passport bros never tell women what they have to offer. If you're saying you're such a good man, if you're such a catch, why aren't you telling us what you have to offer, what you have to give, what you have to entice a woman to enter into a partnership with you? It's always about their wants, needs, and desires, which is why we do not desire them as partners. Passport bros tend to be a little bit selfish when it comes to just being a partner in general. It's always directed towards caring for the man and never thinking about what the woman wants. Now, in the podcast, like I said, it's 2.5 hours. It's a thorough podcast, but I always question why these men are going to seemingly third world countries, right? If the modern woman, as they say, have such high standards, number one, why do you not consider women in the Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, Dominican Republic, Brazil, Argentina, Puerto Rico? You don't consider them modern? What? Not only do you not consider them modern, you do not consider them worthy of the high standards that are demanded by the women of Western nations? That right there to me seems a little bit insulting to women from foreign countries. You expect their standards to be lesser. You expect their demands to be lower. You expect that they will take your disloyalty or your lack of affection, your lack of thorough partnership and giving attitude. You think that they're going to put up with less than what women in Western countries are going to put up with. Not only that, these men, and in particular, it's been targeted towards Black men because Black men are leading the passport bro charge. Black men love to demonize Black women. They want to reject Black women. And seemingly it used to be that in the United States, Black men would reject Black women in favor of their, what they called preference, right? White women or off Black women, AKA racially ambiguous women, used to be their target. Now they're seemingly rejecting Western women as a whole, meaning before you blamed Black women, and you went after the other women. But now it seems like the other women who used to be your preference are now also on the outs as well. They're also part of the problem, right? It used to just be Black women, but now all Western women are the problem, not you. It's all the millions of women in Western countries that are the issue. Take note of this. This is the United States. We have a melting pot of women. If it was truly about the type of women that you wanted, we have Filipinas in the United States. I pass by them in Vallejo all the time. They have an entire community over there. We have Thai women. We have Brazilians. We have Puerto Ricans. This is the United States. We have every type of flavor you could wish. So I don't think the issue is the women that you're demonizing. I think you're going overseas because of the standards that you think are lower. And let me tell you, not only is that disrespect, don't think for a second that the Filipinas aren't about to get with you. Don't think for a second they're going to accept less than a thoroughbred real man willing to put in work for them. And don't act like they don't deserve it. A lot of these men are seemingly banking on desperate women. They're anticipating that these women are somewhat destitute, right? Gonna come after them for their money, which why would you want that in the first place? But they're using their money in order to lure women towards them as if an American man is the pinnacle of success for these women. And not only is that insulting to the women, it's insulting to the men. You really think you're going to jump into a foreign dating market and suddenly become the top 1% of the men that have already been there? You're just going to show up on the shoreline and usurp Filipino men, Thai men, Vietnamese men, Brazilian men. Men overseas typically take better care of themselves than American men do. What makes you think you're going to hop into a foreign market and suddenly be the all-star? These men who are already around these women understand these women and share their values. What makes you think you're going to have a leg up on the competition other than their money? And this is why I'm making the update, is because I was listening to a passport bro who has recently been run out of Brazil. He was run out of Brazil because he was on his YouTube channel, kind of going after Brazilian women and calling them easy, telling American men, come to Brazil. The women over here are a lot easier than American women, which, do you know Latinas? Do you know Latinas? Are you joking? Latinas? If any woman in the world I wouldn't mess with, it would be Latinas. They're known for their spicy behavior, but you guys love to just demonize Black women for it and pretend like we're the only women with attitude in the world. Let those women show you. You're going to learn the hard way, because I knew what was going to happen when he went to Brazil. As beautiful as those women are, they do not deal with nonsense, and their men are masculine AF. Those Brazilian women do not need your weak selves. I'm sorry. And I've said this before, okay? It's not the strong men leaving the United States. The men who are the upper echelon of the dating market here are doing just fine. They know they don't need to leave. They wave goodbye to the rest of the desperates because those are the leftover men. And I never understand, and I've said this before, I'm like, if you've already been rejected from the dating market, you're not making us sad by departing when we've already told you no. Like I said, it's kind of like a varsity JV team type of deal. If you can't make the cut over here, we encourage you to go find a place that's better suited. Go play kiddie t-ball. Go join Team JV. The junior varsity team is more so your league. But let me let you know, the foreign women are not to be underestimated, and that's your fault. And this man found out the hard way when he got busted calling the Brazilian women easy, and the Brazilian women did not like that. Because they're really not easy. They're fun, they're feisty, as he learned the hard way, but they're definitely not easy, and they do still have expectations of men that clearly he didn't meet. But see, the Brazilian women are also defended by very loyal, masculine Brazilian men. So the women didn't really get upset. What they did was tell their fathers and their brothers and their husbands and their boyfriends. And the men of these women came out, and I kid you not, ran this passport bro entirely out of the country. I'm not joking. They ran him out of Brazil. He felt like he wasn't safe in Brazil. People were gunning for him. These men were looking for him. He had to leave, flee Brazil. He is now in Thailand acting like this.
And today I have a tour guide. She's from, where are you from again? Bangkok. And she's 25. Right here on the street. I don't think that's true. Minutes.
No.
She
Stop
ain't
lying.
no, hold on.
Stop
Let
lying.
me talk. It's not your turn.
lying.
Stop being rude.
You stop lying.
Stop being rude. it was a test because she's used to sitting at the table with dudes that she can act like that with, and then they flip out and get emotional. But I'm stoic, remember that? So you guys were right about her. Remember yesterday when she put her hand in my face? It got worse today. Today she embarrassed me today at the restaurant. And the only reason I didn't go off on her was because her friends were sitting with her. I told her she should go, when the train stops, you need to get off on the first exit.
No, I think I'm too nice to you.
That was the propaganda of 2023. Anyway, she slapped me on the chest at the restaurant. At that time, I was embarrassed.
Lying again.
And I was like,
lying again.
Yeah, you gotta be ashamed.
And this is the type of behavior that us women are supposed to be so sad that we're missing out on. This is the man that's saying, I don't want you Western women. You're missing out on a good man. You don't seem like a good man to me, sir. And as I said in the podcast, I don't think a lot of these men, and I can't really call them men. True men, I'm sorry for even equating the two. They are boys. I even sat down and discussed this with my mother, and I showed her pictures of some of these passport bros. And I will come and say this. These passport bros are the typical men that would get rejected in the United States because they do not have an aura of masculinity. When I see them, I do not feel this urge of like respect. I respect them as human beings, but they want the respect. They want to hold authority towards women. They want to be seen as a masculine man that women can come to and trust. And that's not what these men give off. They give off insecurities, lack of self-confidence, and just red pill vibes. They don't strike me as the type of men that could care for a woman or respect a woman clearly. They don't seem like the type of men that could head a household. And in the countries that a lot of these men are fleeing to, Philippines, Brazil, even the African countries, the reason that these passport bros aren't necessarily having the utmost success in pursuing foreign women is because foreign men are raised in a standard or way of living that American men have never experienced. I saw one man, uplifting women from like Ethiopia and Uganda, and they're saying East African women are great. And I'm like, okay, at least he's not putting down Black women. I don't understand why that always has to be a part of the conversation. But then a Black woman came on camera and actually really had to explain to Black men why they are inadequate partners for women from Ethiopia, Uganda, or any traditional scenario.
African women versus African American women. Fellas, do your favor and get your East African beauty.
And this is the problem that some of us have with the Black American passport bros. You can definitely have your preference without bringing down African American women. You can have your preference. East African women can definitely be your preference, but you do not need to compare them with African American women and bring down African American women or Black American women. One of the key elements or variables that most of you forget when you're making this comparison is the social-cultural context, all right? These women are the way they are because of the men in their society. African-American women are the way they are because of what? The men in their society. Most of you are 50-50 men. African men are raised with the mindset to be providers. And that is not the same mindset that most African American men have. Beyond provision, African men believe in lineage and continuity of the family name. And these are the reasons why they tend to get married and often would do well being the man of the house. Most of you African American men do not have that concept of extending your lineage and your family name. Again, this whole thing of East African women love to wear their natural hair. Context is key. In most African countries and cultures, the women are not directly competing with Eurocentric standards. Do not get me wrong, Eurocentric standards are global. However, women on the African continent are not directly competing with that standards, and the economic penalty is not as severe as it is in North America. Okay, so Black women in North America, I'm sure they have beautiful hair, but depending on your career, you need to look a certain way to get ahead. I have done a video extensively talking about the level of microaggression and the way Black women are penalized when they wear their natural hair at work and how that affects them economically. Finally, you talk about the element of respect and how East African women respect their elders and respect men. You need to conduct yourself in a manner that deserves respect. Do African American men carry themselves deserving of respect? That is a question for you to answer. Respect is not given, it is earned. So if you want to get respect from your women, conduct yourself as such. How many of you are sexually disciplined? How many of you are providers? How many of you have emotional intelligence? How many of you claim a pregnancy when a woman tells you that you got her pregnant and you go ahead, follow through, support her, and name the child to ensure that you are laying claims to your lineage and ensuring that your family name continues? These are the things. So before you make these comparisons, remember, African American men and women are a product of their own society, and East African women are also a reflection of their own society and how the men in those society operate and move. My name is Dr. Zita. I am a sociologist. Dear Black Passport Bros, please stop the comparison, go for your preference in peace, and stop disrespecting your own women. That is simply unattractive, and for me, as a West African woman, I would not deal with any man who disrespect his own women just to elevate me.
It's because these women desire the same things as American women. The problem is American women have been trained to be kind of hardened because we have these men that do not take relationships seriously. We've got men having babies out of wedlock and then disregarding or not claiming the children. We've got a situation of baby mama culture or men running rampant, demanding respect when they haven't earned it. When it comes to these passport bros, I understand wanting to be put on a pedestal, but you haven't earned this pedestal. You haven't earned the right to acquire or win a woman's love, and you don't have the skills to make a woman fall in love with you. And this is why, instead of putting in the work to facilitate that type of relationship and connection with a woman, they're trying to take the easy road and going to a country where they seemingly can find women with lower standards, which I said is incredibly insulting. And Filipino women and men, go ahead and sound off in the comment section how you feel about the situation, because you know I have a lot of foreign fans. I have a lot of people from many different countries, and the Philippines happens to be a hotspot for the desires and locations of passport bros. They're going after your women specifically. And though I do know you very well, I think it comes off better coming from you guys, men and women, how you feel about the situation, because to me, it seems a little bit disrespectful to just show up in the Philippines and think that you're just going to be the best thing since sliced bread. Like you're just going to be the utmost pinnacle of every woman's dreams in that country. And then I came across a kind of, interview that was happening on YouTube with this particular passport bro. And he surprised me. He surprised me because during this interview, he did not espouse his distaste for Black women. He didn't say Western women are aggressive, as he likes to say only Western women are the aggressive ones. No South American women, none of you women from island nations, Asian women, you're docile, right? That's the stereotype. Only American women are aggressive. But he actually bypassed all those things that passport bros typically say. In fact, I think for the first time, he really came out and said the truth, and nobody, including this mediocre douchebag, wanted to acknowledge what this man said.
You're going to different countries to pay and to have sex with women. You're not truly having a relationship with them.
Some do.
It gives the movement a bad name, the passport bros a bad name, if your sole purpose is for tourism and prostitution.
Yes, and on my YouTube channel, I actually tell dudes not to go down there to deal with prostitutes, because you cannot complain about American women and then just go pay for some experience that she's getting paid. She's not, I'm not going to say it's not genuine, but I'm going to assume it's not genuine because you had the money. I don't think she'd treat you like that. And the thing is, this is what a lot of people don't understand down here. As an American, 50 grand a year puts you in the top 1% of the world. So as an American, you go somewhere to another country, you have enough excess income to eat out 3 times a day in Brazil or Thailand or Colombia. You can eat out 3 times a day. So whoever my wife is, she's not even going to be cooking anyway, because when I was in the States, I cooked for myself, but I have my money multiplied 5 times when I got to Brazil. So why would I stand in the kitchen and cook when I can just go downstairs and eat and somebody make it for me?
But the brother Austin also said something that was very important as well. Making $50,000 a year puts you in the top 1% in the entire world. Let me tell you guys, we bought Popeyes for all of us. When I tell you that these girls absolutely lost their mind over Popeyes because it's not something that they can readily afford. And I remember thinking to myself how fortunate that we are in America that we can afford these things. But when you deal with a class or archetype of woman that thinks taking them out to Ruth Chris is the goddamn bare minimum for a first date, then what you have is a class of pure and utter entitlement. A class of women who will not accept dudes making $50,000 per year.
This man came out and said the women in the United States don't want the average man making $50K a year. The average woman in the United States does not want the average man, so-called, but he can go over to the Philippines, he can go overseas, and his money gets him farther. And the women are happier with his money. He can take these girls to Popeye's Chicken, where this is considered a low-class thing in the United States. In other countries, this is like a real treat. This is a real luxury. And he likes being treated like the alpha man that's got all the money. He likes being treated like he's the millionaire. He likes being able to blow money on these girls and then be impressed by that. And I'm like, honestly, this is a much more valid argument than the other nonsense that I have heard from passport bros. Just tell the truth. Because truth of the matter is, what you are trying to do is impress a woman with your money. But Western women are not going to be impressed with $50K, especially if they're making the same $50K themselves. A lot of these passport bros are relying on their ability to provide, not realizing or wanting to acknowledge the fact that these women, at least in Western nations, can provide for themselves. So you have to provide something beyond the bounds of money. And they don't have anything beyond the bounds of money. They don't have personality, skill set, love, compassion, devotion, loyalty, nothing. They have absolutely nothing to offer a woman. And they know the American women will not accept what they have. They don't meet the standard. They don't meet the threshold. We see your resume and we reject it. So you take it to women overseas and hope that they will take you and hire you for their top position, even though you only have barely a high school diploma. But like I said, taking the money angle is a much more valid argument because yes, your money does go farther in foreign nations, particularly Asian and South American nations. Your money will get you farther, but it won't get you love. A lot of these men want love and devotion, and the only woman that's going to be devoted to you, she's only going to be devoted for the period of time that your pocketbook lasts. And even that, women just get tired. Like your money at that point, your money can't scrub away our irritation. At some point, we expect that you be an actual valuable partner, and you don't have the skill set to provide that. And I hate the fact that these men want to blame women for their lack of skills in order to get women. Instead of demand that we lower our standards, why not focus on self-fulfillment? Self-betterment, emotional stability. Why not focus on bettering yourself instead of blaming all of your faults on women you don't know? Because you're so mad at them for just not accepting you and not trying to figure out why. You're just pointing the finger. It's childish. And every time I have a discussion about this, there's men in the comment section talking about, oh my God, she's so upset. You're so upset that these men don't want you. You're so upset that they're going overseas. Do I look upset to you? Do I look like I'm missing out to you? Does it look like I'm not being fed beautiful home-cooked gourmet food by a wonderful guy every now and then? Like, I'll tell you right now, I am. I'm sitting here as a perfectly content woman who really doesn't have a leg in this thing. And honestly, most Western women don't feel like they have a leg in this because they don't care. When lesser men decide that they're going to remove themselves, the only thing we have to say is thank you. Thank you. If you decide to return, we hope you return with a better skill set, and it'll help your chances in acquiring the mate that you would like. But don't expect foreign women to put up with less. And I wouldn't advocate for foreign women to put up with less because I think they deserve more than what you're willing to give them. Just because they're from a third world country as you see it, just because you consider them not to be modern, doesn't mean they don't deserve a good partner. And I'm going to take up for my other fans that are here from different nations, like, screw you for that. And I'm sorry, people from other nations, I don't want you to think that we're dumping our American garbage on your shores. Okay, like I said, good men are here and the good men are choosing to stay because they aren't having any problems. The weaker men have to leave, and that's on them. We're not telling them to leave. We're not advocating them to leave. I'm just not going to keep them against their will. But I don't want foreign nations to think that we're being entitled, privileged Americans dumping our toxic trash on your shorelines. That's not what I want it to seem like. So I do want to extend the olive branch to my foreign sisters over there. I know that they're not the greatest men. I acknowledge that, and I'm sorry. This was not our decision to make. The most I can do is give my apologies, warn you about it, and just kind of tell you to steer clear. Unless you're willing to kind of play games with them, then that's on you. I mean, enjoy yourself. If they're coming over there for the exploitative mission of finding a destitute woman that is so like low that she's willing to put up with their lackluster behavior and lack of like spousal support as like a partner, then use them as you wish, because they're playing games also, and it's not fair. It is an interesting situation though, and it has become a massive topic throughout all of YouTube, all of TikTok. It is literally everywhere. And even the foreign women are weighing in on this. And I'm just like, sis, go ahead and get them. Foreign men, I understand why you would be upset, because it's just like they expect to come to your country and then automatically be better than you. Okay, good luck with that. The fact of the matter is, some Western women truly just don't even want relationships at this point. They don't want children. They're done with it. Those of us that do still want kind of that traditional familial household and tie, we are much more guarded against these men because we have been trained to see through the BS. A lot of Western women have been put through the ringer when it comes to men. In the Western world, in the world of Western women, a lot of us are very guarded. Our walls are up. We're looking for a man that we can trust, because a lot of the men around us have trained that they can't be trusted. They treat relationships as used tissues. They treat relationships like hobbies and hop from woman to woman and bed to bed, taking nothing and no one seriously. A lot of women have scars from these boys that have neglected them when these women did attempt to take them seriously. Western women, because we are able to provide for ourselves in a way that we weren't able to do 100 years ago, we no longer rely on a man's financial ability the way that passport bros are hoping that foreign women will lie on their financial stability. We don't need you for that. You have to understand that the Western world is different. It's a little bit harder for everyone. Women have to live a much more masculine life because we are forced to care for ourselves, because we are forced to participate in the market, in the job market. We have to kind of take on masculine features in order to provide, but that's not something that any of us really want. I am an incredibly feminine woman. I love to be cuddled. I love to be held. I'm a big freaking baby and will trap you in bed and make you late for work simply because I wanted you to hug me. That's what I was feeling. I am annoying. I'm affectionately annoying in like the best way, but I will want to sit on your lap and I will want to give you kisses on your cheek. And like, I like being a girly girl and I like being held and I like having a strong man. But I know that's not the energy that I give off on this channel, because I'm in a situation of authority and I will never give that type of energy to a man until I feel like I can trust him. Until I feel like he's taking me seriously and I can let my walls down without him scarring me the way others have. A lot of these seemingly strong women are only pretending to be dragons at the gates of the tower in which their princess is stored. They are terrified to show you the vulnerability within them because they don't want to be taken advantage of yet again, which is exactly what these passport bros are doing to women overseas. And it really like triggers Western women, not because we care that you're leaving. We're happy to be rid of you, but it terrifies us that we know that you're going to scar other women and they don't see it coming sometimes. That's the issue. We see our sisters in danger and we just want to scream because you guys just can't help but damage everything you put your hands on. Yes, Western women do want men, but we want men that make us feel safe. We want men that can be in control when we're just having a down moment. We want men that can lift us up when we're just emotionally unstable. We want men that come and have a conversation with us when we're displeased or they're displeased so that we can facilitate a healthy relationship and grow together. It takes a lot of mental maturity to be able to have that level of communication. And on these boys' pathways to their academic goals of graduating unto becoming men, they're not prepared for these advanced communication techniques. They have not had the proper training to deal with Western women, and they're not interested in pursuing it. Western women at this point are a specialized group. Now, there is a lot that comes from being with a Western woman, or honestly, any woman in general. And a lot of successful men will say the same thing. The best thing you can do for yourself as a man, like a truly fully fledged man who has himself under control, who's done the internal work, who has the skills to actually garner respect from women, unlike the passport bros who keep screaming and crying for it. Like those of you who have earned your respect through skill level, the best thing you can do for yourself is get married. Find a good woman who will support you. But if you find a good wife, the magic that that woman will interject into your life is life changing. And this is said by billionaires, millionaires, all successful men around the world who have been married. If you are able to find yourself a good woman and make her your wife, this woman's going to create a place where you will flourish. She's going to create a place of comfort for you, of stability, a place where you can be creative, where you can be passionate, a place where you can feel safe and grow. You will have no distractions, and she will facilitate your growth. She will guide you away from wrong paths and give you creative ideas to push you forward. She will drive you. She will motivate you. She will help you along the way. She will help you maintain your schedule and pull in clients. She will be your partner in crime. This woman will boost you and prepare you to be the best man you possibly can be. Having an actual devoted wife is one of the best things a successful man can have for himself, which is why most successful men do have one. The amount of happiness a true wife can bring to a man is exactly why Western women are so jealous of men in the first place. We see all the benefits that men get from wonderful women, all the love that wonderful women give you guys, all the comfort and compassion and energy. And we're like, I want a partner that does that too. I want a man who can be there for me when I'm just emotionally depleted. He can just hold me and be like, you know what, babe, I see you need a nap. I'm going to cook dinner. I'm going to bring it in the room. We're going to watch a movie together. I'm going to be here with you. We're going to get through this together. Western women want a strong man, and being strong means being able to help us through the emotional trials and tribulations that women face, all of our frustrations and all of our needs. And when we're just feeling down, when we're feeling weak, it takes a strong man to step in there and guide us. It takes a strong man to step in there and say, I see you're in pain. Let's talk about it. I see you're struggling. How can I help? I'm here for you, babe. When we go to work and we're stressing and he's calling to check up on us and be like, how are you doing today? Did you take your medication? Are you coming home on time? Look, I worked this out and I already did the laundry. If you could do this by the time we get home, we can spend some time together and help you feel better. Like, it takes a strong man to be that type of devoted partner that's willing to give as much as his woman gives. In a true 50-50 relationship, both people flourish. And that's another reason we don't want the passport bros is whenever you hear them talk, they don't care to think about what the woman needs. They only think about themselves. But Western women, being that the world that we live in is so strenuous, we really need a man that helps us decompress, that helps us carry the weight, the emotional weight. We don't like having to be as strong as we are. And I always have to be an authority figure. And sometimes I just want to melt in a man's arms, but I can't do it with a man that I don't trust, that isn't going to make me feel protected and cared for. I want to nest like a little baby squirrel in somebody's arms and feel okay and feel like nothing in the world can touch me. And I haven't seen not one of these passport bros that give me that feeling that I could just cling to him and feel safe for a moment. We really need men that can provide relief from the rambunctious, rowdy world that we live in, because it is hard. It is difficult for a lot of us feminine women to put up those walls and march into this very combative world. We don't like it, but we do it for self-preservation purposes. But we really do like lowering those walls when we get home. We really do like having a man look us in the face and automatically know we need hugs, kisses, and some affection. But like, that is the most endearing thing in the world, is when a man can look at you and automatically just know what you need. Just scoop you up in his arms and hug you. Just look you in the face and give you a kiss. Just draw you closer when you're next to each other watching TV and hold you as you watch something stupid or funny. Like, those are the intimate moments that really make us feel good and make us cling to you. And there's not a lot of men that have the ability to do that. But for those of you that can do that, number one, I know you're not a passport bro, because you're in the United States making us fight each other over you because you're so damn rare and valuable that you know you're not going anywhere, because you know you are the top 1% of the men. And I'll hand it to you. You are. Okay. Yes, we're fighting over you. But that's why we're just not fighting for the men that are leaving. Honestly, it helps us clean the country. It makes it a lot easier for us to suss out the fuckboys of the world. We don't really have to have that question in our brain. Honestly, if I could ship out all the fuckboys, all the passport bros, all the lesser men of the world, I would. I totally would. And like I said, I'm not trying to pollute foreign nations' soil, but if they want to go, I definitely would charter them a boat. If you want to find the full podcast discussion discussing the Passport Bros and all their nonsense and all of my different takes on the whole relationship thing as I've been discussing it in different videos, click the pinned comment below and it will take you directly to the Spotify podcast where I discuss that, along with other podcasts that I have done throughout the times that I've been doing this, because you guys know I like to run my mouth. And of course, there will be future discussions. If you have suggestions, let me know. I have a Discord, I have a Patreon, I have Instagram, I have a Twitter. Leave it in the comments. Like, I like to have thorough discussions about different topics and different things. So if you have a discussion, a topic, a suggestion, give me a shout. Good men of the United States, good men of the world. I know you guys in all your goodness are sitting back there quiet, uncaring. You can't be bothered by the situation, but if you could just humor me and piping up and let me know what you think about this stupid situation. Yes, I know you think it's stupid because I've actually spoken to some of you. I do know a lot of good men and they think this is laughable. They think Passport Bros are laughable. They think the whole situation's laughable and they don't even want to acknowledge it. I get it. But if you could just humor me for this second, let me know what you think. Let the Passport Bros, you know, those little boys who have yet to actually blossom into men, let them know where their failures are and why women around the world are seemingly rejecting them. Like, it seems like they really want to learn, even though they're reluctant to, but maybe if you could possibly give them some guidance, it could help them. I'm here to help everybody, so try to help them out. Foreign women, what do you think about the situation? How are you handling it? Are you preparing your daughters? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up. Find me on all my different social media platforms. Hit the subscribe button so that we can have future discussions. And always remember, I love you and I will miss you, but you know I will be back in a future video. Bye!